All right, it's a Wednesday. That means we've got Luke Close along with us to talk some college football. We've changed up the format a little bit this week. We were doing just predictions, and you know what they say in the stock market, right? The best portfolios are the ones that are diversified, and so we're diversifying tonight. We are still doing predictions, trust me, because how could you not go into this weekend and not do predictions? But we've got a couple other topics to discuss as well.
This weekend it started on Monday with the Ravens Lions game. Didn't go my way once again, but this week of sports is just as a sports fan, it gets no better than this. You got big games all Saturday, big games all Sunday, the Ryder Cup from Friday to Sunday. It's going to be an incredible weekend, and as we've seen recently, the college football season is already turning for the better or for worse, depending on what fan base you are or you're a
It's
part of.
it's turning for the crazy. Like I'm already getting that vibe. We've already seen some crazy shit happen. We've already seen some teams show their true colors, show their
Yeah.
true identities, if you will, i.e., Clemson and Florida. And all I want to know is, Scooby Doo mask. Who else is next? Who else? Who else are they going to take the mask off of this year? I mean, there's. I think that there's teams that haven't been tested yet. I mean, Penn State's. Um,
Yeah.
Ohio State with a test in Washington this weekend. I think that should be your short this week. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, I love Jed Fish too. He's my guy. Jed Fish has been my guy for a few years now, and I said last year I think he's going to build something at Washington. And Washington was a team. I don't know if we put it on the video or not, but I know before we did our little sleeper dark horse predictions, Washington was a team that I said, look, I really wanted to put them on the list, but I'm not sure where they're at in the Jed Fish era. But I'm excited to see what they have for Ohio State, the defending national champions.
I think they're building something special. I mean, whenever something drastic like Kalen DeBoer just up and leaving 4 days after winning a natty happens, it's gonna take a lot to rebound. But I think that Washington's ahead of schedule, and I'm gonna say this is my take here.
Yeah.
Washington will have a major upset this year. It will either be, or how major it is, I'm not sure, but it'll either be Ohio State or Oregon, one or the other. I'm not gonna say which one it is. I'm picking one of them.
Yeah, and we talk about Penn State not being tested. Oregon, they've got some kinks to work out as well.
Yeah, I mean they beat up on a dilapidated Oklahoma State program, and then Oregon State I think is still winless. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, but it's life is tough for both of those orange and black teams, and Oregon just took full advantage. And we're going to talk about another team that has taken full advantage of the Utah Utes in Salt Lake City.
yeah,
Texas Tech Red Raiders. They planted their flag. They made their statements. It's one of those things too where I'm not going to act completely surprised about Tech here
yeah.
because you and I talked about them this summer, and I think there are a lot of people that expected the Red Raiders because of what they invested into this roster this year to have this kind of growth. Number one, number two, the Big 12 is a lot worse than I think any of us could have expected. It's that conference. It's looking like Texas Tech, TCU, and I don't even know what right now.
I'm not going to count out Arizona State yet,
I
but
won't count Arizona State.
I think they had a tough matchup in Starkville.
Yeah,
They got the job done in Waco last week. I think that they're still a player, and I'm not counting out my Mountaineers yet either. Um, I'll
but
ride with my Mountaineers. Hey, Texas Tech plays West Virginia last week of the season in Morgantown. So I all I'm saying that could be for a trip to the Big 12 title game.
that could be a little trap game there as well. I always love a little Morgantown trap game.
Absolutely. Saw it happen to Pitt.
I was very happy to see that. I texted you. I was like, "How about the Mountaineers, baby?"
Yeah, now the other two games, we're not going to talk about that. We'll leave it at the highlights for West Virginia right now, but hopefully more highlights down the road.
Yeah, I look. I love Rich Rod. I love West Virginia. I really hope that they can right that ship because I do think that's one of college football's premier underrated programs. But what what Tech is doing right now, they're making the leap that we expected. They're making the
I
jump that we
agree.
expected. So you can't act surprised, but I always know that there was that kind of manufactured doubt with this team, and especially here in Texas, like that's the narrative is, them and the Aggies. There's expectations every year, and then they fall apart.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to subscribe to that for Texas Tech this year because it does feel a little bit different. This roster feels a little bit deeper. And what really turned my head on Saturday was you have something like Baron Morton go down. And first of all, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking with that slide, but I've never seen somebody like it was like helicopter slid. He slid like
Yeah.
semi head first.
Yeah, that was a questionable decision for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about there, but Will Hammond came in and tore it up.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and here's what I'll say: what makes me buy in on Texas Tech. One, right as of right now, they play one ranked team. The rest of their schedule, and that's BYU, who's ranked 25th in the country and could easily fall out of those rankings. And I think I was a huge Devin Dampier believer. I thought Utah was going to win the game on Saturday, honestly. And Texas Tech has beaten opponents in multiple different ways. Lower scoring battle in Salt Lake. Uh, Taking it to a Kyle Whittingham team, which is always impressive. And they've also shown the ability to be explosive on offense. Now, granted, it's against lesser opponents, but I mean they've shown. I love Jacoby Williams, the running back for Texas Tech. He looks like one of those guys that's just blossoming before our eyes right now. And Tech's done it the right way. They're taking advantage of the NIL. Or I believe I mentioned this when we were talking about them this summer. But they paid that softball player $1 million, the first female athlete in college sports to be paid $1 million, and they went to the Women's College World Series. So it's something is working. They've got a formula that's working right now.
It's not just spending sporadically, like it's
Exactly.
spending intentionally. Most importantly, they've created depth on this roster because you have Quentin Joyner go down for the season, no problem. Bear Morton's in concussion protocol. He will be back, but it's got to be comforting as a Tech fan, seeing Will Hammond come out and just absolutely ball. Like that's the testament to their depth.
And they're on a bye week too this week, which is I think a greatly timed bye for the Tech program right now because as you said, Morton is a crucial part to that offense. He's looked phenomenal. Obviously they're a pretty balanced offense, but I don't think anybody was really talking about him. Even us, we kind of mentioned him briefly, but we are talking more about Joyner and the guys around him. But Morton has really looked like he's taking control of that offense. The system looks great. Joey McGuire done a fantastic job with that team.
No, I mean that quarterback room is rich.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
You've got Hammond as your backup option. That's pretty damn good. And then you have more. I mean, more than close to 1,000 yards passing before the injury. I mean, he's balling right now. He's on a great pace. And what stuck out to me about this game against Utah in particular was I felt like this was the first time I saw somebody actually go into Rice Eccles and just break Utah. Like,
they dominated.
They broke them.
Yeah,
like they sucked the air out of that building. But whenever it takes a lot to empty Rice Eccles, and I'm looking around 4 minutes after the game and it's empty. I'm like they did it. Like they dominated. They destroyed this team's spirit, and Utah looked desperate. That's another thing. I never see Kyle Whittingham teams look desperate and look like out of answers. They didn't have any answers. It looked like they were throwing spaghetti to a wall and hoping it sticks in the second half of that game. And Tech was just getting into it. So it was pretty cool to see.
I like I said, I mean, I think this Tech team is very dynamic. I would be very shocked to not see them at AT&T Stadium come December. It's just this team is it looks to be the real deal. And they with their schedule they could possibly walk in there undefeated. I mean that's they play BYU, but it's a home game. They've got a few tests along the road. Obviously, when you looked at their schedule to start the year, you didn't think Kansas State was going to be a 1-3 team and maybe one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country or Power 4 teams in the country. But It's this team has a great setup right now. I think that this team, when you look at like, you know, playoff odds, you can never really pencil somebody in. I give this team a 3-4 shot at making the college football playoff right now, barring injuries and the injury bug and what's going on with them. So we'll see.
It's the setup is great. It's very much a control your own destiny thing, but if you're Tech, you've got to avoid the trap games. That's the big thing. It's you have a team like that, a lot of expectations. You know what lies ahead. You know you have an easier schedule than most. You got to stay focused. Yeah, you've got to take it 1 week at a time. I said that with Alabama last year when after they beat LSU, I was like, man, it was like Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn left on the schedule. I'm like, you've got to just stay focused. You're 0-0 every week. That ended up not being the mentality as they lost to Oklahoma. Your Tech, you can't have an Oklahoma loss. You have to take care of business and do what needs to be done to put yourself in that position to go to Arlington. And I'm going to say this: if we were to be blessed with a Texas Tech TCU Big 12 championship in Arlington, I will thank the football gods endlessly. That would be incredible.
Will you be there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I want to go to Atlanta, but
yeah.
That
it's got to be the right team in Atlanta to go.
It's got to be the crimson and white team in Atlanta. But we'll again one
season.
Pray about that.
Yeah, we weeks at a time in the SEC. That's what we can talk about. As we said, the Big 12. I think that's kind of where my West Virginia prediction came in earlier in the year. I just figured the Big 12 would be just a total shit show, conglomerate of average teams beating up on each other every week. But with the SEC, it's 1 week at a time. It's no offense to the Big 12, but and I will say this too: Texas Tech does play Kansas. I believe in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. That Kansas team is another team that I really think is going to be vying for a playoff spot and a Big 12 championship appearance as well. That'll be an interesting game, and I think that they could be ranked by the time they play. Obviously, a disappointing result against Missouri. Still high on Kansas as well.
They have to play Arizona State as well.
They do have to play Arizona State. Arizona State will probably creep its way back into the rankings as well.
But, yeah, I forgot about them earlier. I can't. They're fine. I'm not like you said. We talk about the state game. That's kind of what that is.
Yeah, they've got kind of they've got their own things to worry about. Arizona State does, but I think as of right now, you could pencil in Texas Tech as the most complete team in the Big 12.
Yes, sir. I'm on paper and what they've proven so far, it looks very good for the Red Raiders. We're gonna keep in the Big 12 here, and we're gonna talk about a not so glorious story right now. Oklahoma State firing Mike Gundy. I'll be honest. Growing up as a 2000s and 2010s college football kid, I hate seeing this. I knew it was going to happen. It was inevitable. I watched the Tulsa game last Friday, and I was saying to my friends, I'm like, this has to be it. I mean, there's no sense of direction here. It's stale. This team is free falling faster than any other team in college football. I mean, the only other FBS team or Power 4 team you could say is UCLA. That's free falling as fast as Oklahoma State is, but it's scary bad. Because this was a team as close it goes when I was at Alabama.
Yeah,
2021 they played in Arlington. They played Baylor for a Big 12 championship. That's how recent it's been. And I know that NIL had a lot to do with it. And Mike Gundy was one of those coaches that was not huge on it. It was very combative, was very abrasive towards it, which I wouldn't recommend if you want to sustain a program. But I can also see where a guy like Mike Gundy is coming from, just like I could see where Dabo Swinney's coming from. You want to get your guys in the building, develop them. I get that. I respect that. But it's just in this age, you can't do that. And this is the results. There's more to it, which we'll get into, but I want to hear your thoughts on it a little bit.
I'm a man. Come at me.
I've got to post that clip to the air. I'm just gonna be like, Mike Gundy, man, never forget. Absolutely.
Mike Gundy has always been one of my one of those guys that in college football where you're like, this guy is just insane. This guy is crazy. Like he is. He's. I love Mike Gundy. I'm gonna put it out there and say preface this with
I
I'm
love
I'm
him.
a Mike Gundy fan. Um, but this program has been on a little bit of a sharp decline, I think. Like you said, UCLA, and they made changes as well with Deshaun Foster being fired. I didn't expect that this early in the tenure, but clearly there was some misalignment there in that program. Um, yeah, this is just a bummer. You knew it was coming though. You knew it was coming at the beginning of the year, and they were so late to the NIL party.
Yeah.
Um, that and they didn't really have funding. They got a lot of transfers, and I think it was like 70 people, 70 transfers this year. But you really look up and down that roster, and there's not many guys that you pinpoint and you pencil in. You're like, we can't let this guy beat us. And I think that was the big problem for Oklahoma State. They didn't, they lost a quarterback, but overall, it's 69-3 on the road at Oregon. It was never even close. It could have been 100-3, um, and a loss against Tulsa for I think that was the first time they've won in Stillwater since 1951.
Yeah.
It was time for a change. Now I did see earlier today, his younger brother, I believe his name's Cale Gundy, said that he is interested in coaching still. And so there's programs out there that need a football coach. And one place that I'm really looking at and kind of like maybe this happens, maybe it doesn't, is Arkansas. Because they've got a lot of money, and I think that Gundy would needs a fresh start as much as Oklahoma State does. I still have faith in his coaching. I mean, the results speak for themselves. Um, so yeah, I think we'll see Mike Gundy back in college football
I
in
think
in no time.
I think he's what I would do is I think he's going to take a couple years off. I think he's going to do the Dan Mullen thing.
You think so?
Be me. I mean, he has such a dynamic personality. The guy's a lefty.
Yeah,
He's got a fucking mullet. I mean, Mike Gundy would be great for television, and he's somebody that like listening to, growing up, watching his team, seeing how they play. Like I I think that his opinions would be credible, and I think that
yeah.
his angle, his view on college football is something that I really want to dissect and hear more about. Like I want to hear his angle, and so Mike Gundy on television would be fascinating, and I hope we see that.
Absolutely.
And then I think he will coach another team at some point.
Yeah, he'll be back in coaching. I I it, it's one of those things. Just like, man, growing up, man. Like, Corso's gone, Leach is gone, Meyer on big box, big Fox Noon or whatever it's called, Big Noon Kickoff, and now Gundy's gone, and it's just the landscape of college football has completely changed. And I just think that this game is passing somebody by. When you talk about being abrasive to NIL, you look at Dabo Sweeney right now. He fell behind a little bit. He tried to adapt to it. Uh, we've seen the results in Clemson this year, not great, and it seems and all credit to the teams that beat them. I mean, Georgia Tech and Syracuse, they're good programs, but it just seems like the game is kind of passing some guys by right now, and it's sad to see.
And unfortunately, it's two guys that I really like because Dabo is another guy that I really like,
Yeah, he's a good dude.
seeing that he's genuinely a good dude, and seeing the game pass them by, like I hate to see it, but I will say this about Mike Gundy's situation in Oklahoma State. I heard this today, and I read it somewhere too, but it was toxic inside
Oh,
that
I'm
building
sure. I'm
between him
sure.
and not only the program, but the athletic department overall, because what they did was they tried to get him to take a pay cut. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it, and then he finally succumbed. They said, "We're going to use part of it to fuel NIL, while load up your roster, whatnot." Well, that money was never allocated,
Oh, wow.
and Gundy got pissed. And so
As you would be
he
when
went
your
into this
athletic
year.
department's lying to you.
Yeah, when you get lied to by your own athletic department, I mean, you're gonna, yeah, that's a piss in your Cheerios. You're gonna be kind of removed, and so
Yeah.
I don't how this differs from the UCLA thing. UCLA with Deshaun Foster, I understand him going into the season with him. It was a second year, right? I mean, they brought in Nico. Like there's a vision that maybe having him there, maybe his presence can turn things around a little bit. Maybe a bowl team, 7-5. Okay, starting off 0-3 and losing to New Mexico, I don't think anybody expected that. I didn't
No.
expect that. But this Oklahoma State thing, we knew what it was going into the season. So I was kind of perplexed that they even tried this. And you're sitting looking at Oregon on your schedule. I'm like, you just what's going to happen. Like, come on, don't think through them here. It's just some situations. There's a couple in the NFL right now that I'm seeing, like this Dolphins thing with Mike McDaniel. Seeing that thing play out. It's like, what are you waiting? Florida's another one. Just what are you waiting for? Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just get it done. You know what's going to happen. Just get it done.
Yeah, Florida's one where I've been kind of a little bit. I'm not ready to give it up yet. Sadly, but yeah, I know it's coming. He's probably the next one to go, and Pittman is right there with him. Arkansas fumbling 2 games away, he's right there with him. So that's kind of where I stand.
Ole Miss is one thing, but Memphis and the way they lost they had that game in the bag.
Yeah,
and play calling screwed it up. So I think everything lies in the Notre Dame game this weekend for him. That's if they can pull off the Notre Dame upset, I think he can buy a little more time. But I'm also not very confident in that either.
No, I don't think a 1-2 Notre Dame team is gonna waltz into whatever their stadium name is. I'm thinking of Bud Walton right now, the basketball arena. But Fayetteville, they're not going to waltz into Fayetteville and just lay down for this Arkansas team. Even though, and it's sad because Taylor Green's one of the most dynamic players in the country. He's a great quarterback, but they just can't seem to figure it out.
I mean, I think that now with John Mateer being down, there's an argument that right now he may be among the best. Well, Trinidad Chambliss has looked pretty damn good too. There's more tape on Taylor Green, but Trinidad Chambliss has looked really good as well. But speaking of John Mateer, let's keep it in the state of Oklahoma. And this was a bombshell yesterday. I mean, I knew he'd injured his hands, but the severity of it, I was thinking maybe it would be like a day-to-day thing. Get some treatment on it, sit out of practice a couple of days, just make the right decisions medically, have sports science work with him, he'd be fine. But missing about a month for this, I was not expecting. And the biggest thing that popped out to me is Oklahoma is going to be playing here in Dallas in about 2 weeks. Against Texas. Huge game. And I had that built up in my head. This is going to be the moment. Like we've seen the Michigan win. We've seen the Auburn win. 2 ranked teams. I feel like Oklahoma's getting some decent respect, but still kind of being slept on. I feel like beating Texas here in Dallas is going to be the moment where Oklahoma officially arrives for this season. And now they're going into that game with Michael Hawkins. And this is different than the Texas Tech scenario because Baron Morton goes out. You got Will Hammond right there. You saw Michael Hawkins play last year. I personally, I think that this is going to throw Oklahoma's season off. And it sickens me to the core because John Mateer was on a Heisman pace. This team was on pace. They could have possibly played in Atlanta if the season kept going the way it was going, just because of how good that defense is. And you have the best quarterback in the country. That's a hell of a combination. But now, I hate to see this happen for Mateer. I hate to see this happen for the people in Norman. I hate to see this happen for Oklahoma. And Brett Venables felt like they're getting everything together after last year. There's a lot of questions. And, so far this season, it looked very good. But now, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? I'm sick.
Yeah, really unfortunate situation, obviously. I think Mateer was not only the favorite for the Heisman, but he was going to I really believe he was going to win the Heisman. He did look a little off against Auburn. Now I was having myself a day by the time I realized that, something was off with him, but Mateer, I said coming into the year, I thought he was going to be the highest impact transfer. And he was showing why early on in the year. Now Fernando Mendoza does take over the Heisman race, which, I have a little bit of happiness for because I'm a Signetti believer and a Signetti fan actually. But Mateer, I'm disappointed that he's not going to play Texas because I think Arch versus Mateer would have been must see TV. obviously, I'm right there with you. I think that was going to be the game where Oklahoma truly sits there and is like, we're sitting there. We're like, this team is for real. This team is a national championship contender. I think hand injury for quarterbacks. Let's be real here. If it wasn't serious, he wouldn't be having surgery on it. Um,
Surgeries.
that's you do that when you it's and I don't know what surgery exactly he's having, but a surgery with a timetable of 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks is usually more of a fixer upper than it is a total healing total healing factor or whatnot. But I I hope he comes back healthy. I was believing in this Oklahoma team. They, like you said, defense is just incredible. Um, that defensive line, man. That Oklahoma defense looks like an old school Alabama defense right now, and they come after you and they get after you. But you know he's Texas game's a big game, but he's not missing too much of the season, and I still think I still have hopes for Oklahoma's playoff hopes. But I'm with you too. Like he's gonna have to get back in rhythm, get conditioning back, like everything. We'll see how it goes. I think that yeah, I don't know if I think they can still beat Texas with Michael Hawkins just because of that defense,
I actually do too.
but
I was gonna
it's
say
gonna be tough. But I think I would have picked them outright right now against Texas. Um, Now we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, 2 weeks. Wow, unfortunate for you as well. Are you going to that game in the Cotton Bowl?
I was planning on it. I mean, Dallas right down the road, just right
Yeah,
down I-30. Yeah, I was planning on that. I probably still will because it's bucket list. But I want to see Mateer and Manning. I mean that was going
yeah,
to be the headliner. It's a crusher. But I'm looking at Oklahoma's schedule right here, and they're lucky because they have a bye this week.
right.
One. Then they have Kent State for some reason in October. Then they
Yeah,
have Texas, and then they have South Carolina on the road, which I'm honestly not that worried about that. Like initially at the start of the season, I was like, oh boy, the cockpit. But I saw Vanderbilt go in there and just run shit. And granted, Sellers went down in that game, but it's still worth acknowledging.
hey, the cockpit. Let's keep it PG on here.
Hey, that's what the kids like to call it. And
Oh
then
boy.
and then they host Ole Miss, which that one without Michael Hawkins or without John Mateer with Michael Hawkins is probably the one that I'm most concerned about.
I think he might be back for that game though. That's kind of when I'm thinking that he's not. He's out for that game already.
Well, no, I mean he could be. I was forecasting November 1st against Tennessee, but
Okay.
he could be back for the Ole Miss
That
game.
that's where I was kind of thinking. They said I saw like 2 to 4 weeks now. They might be precautionary with Ole Miss. I think it really depends on how these next few weeks go. I think if they have one loss, they might. If they have zero losses, I think they hold him out until Tennessee or till whenever he's ready. But I think they might try to push him back into the fire if they have two losses or whatnot.
Oh hell yeah, I would too. I mean, if he's ready to go, if he's functional
Yeah,
with the seasons he's having, because if he can get out of this and only miss the Kent State game and the Texas game, that's that's pretty solid because they're definitely winning one, and then I think the other they can win. So like I would
you're talking
try to
about
get
Texas, right?
yes. Yeah, what Kent State, I'm not sure. Texas, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too.
Now, speaking of SEC schedules, I want to talk about this before our picks. Every once in a while here, I get kind of pissed off, and this is something that really pissed me off because this is supposed to be a sport that's about tradition. Number one,
Yeah,
pageantry. Number two, proximity and regionality. Number three, this new schedule format violates all three. This is like the farewell address of college football. George Washington. It's um,
I'm
thou
with you.
thou shall not lose significant rivalries, and
Yeah,
well, we are when you take Alabama, LSU off the schedule for Mississippi State. Quite honestly, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And then
yeah.
also when you have Ole Miss playing Oklahoma, Lane Kiffin came out and said today he's like, we have no connection to Oklahoma. We respect everybody over there. It's a great school. We love playing in Norman. Nothing against them. And they feel the same way about Ole Miss. It's like nothing against them, but
Yeah.
we don't have any connections to Oxford. We don't have any connections to this fan base. Like there's no history. Like I want to see Ole Miss and Arkansas every year. That's being not discontinued, but it's not going to be an every year thing. Why not? It's a border state rivalry. You drive over the border from Cleveland, Mississippi, and you're in Arkansas. That's what I don't know. That's just that drives me crazy. And I like playing Mississippi State too, because I think Starkville is an underrated college town, and it's right down the road from us.
Yeah.
But we should be playing LSU every year. And what stuck out to me is we're only playing Ole Miss once the rest of the schedule.
I'm in a Alabama sports football group chat with some buddies of mine, and they were talking about our schedule and whatnot, and I was like, so where's Ole Miss? Are we ever going to play Ole Miss again? Because think about it. It's been 2 years already, and it's going to be till 2027 the next time we play them, and then it looks like 2 more years until we play them again. So I think in a way, I understand what the goal of the SEC was. It was to make sure that some teams didn't have overloaded opponents compared to others.
Yeah.
It was more of like a schedule balancing. But you ask any Alabama fan, and probably 75% of LSU fans, we would rather play each other every year. That's one of the biggest parties of the year. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like you get to go down. I love going down to Baton Rouge. People have some negative experiences there. I've had great times both times I went down. Great games. I mean, it's traditional games. I mean, every time it feels like every time Alabama and LSU get together, it's an incredible game. Now there's some outliers, but it's most of the time. I mean, overtime games, game winners. Obviously, everybody knows about that 2019 matchup. I feel like with Ole Miss and Oklahoma, they were just sitting there. They're like, "Oh, both teams start with an O. All right, we'll pair them together. I mean, it looks good on paper." Like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No Ole Miss fan is going to beg on their hands and knees to go to Norman, Oklahoma to play. I mean, it might, unless it's like a top 5 matchup. uh, Give them Mississippi State, give them Arkansas, give them LSU. I mean, it's easy. It's really easy. Oklahoma, give them Texas, give them A&M or Missouri, and then give them Arkansas or somebody else like that. Like Arkansas could easily have LSU, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma like I mean just I understand the balancing, but it's just I knew it was coming too. I knew that Bama Mississippi State was coming as well because the Alabama having Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn. It's unbalanced, but we've done that 75, 80 years now, like 100 years even. Like we don't need to be pampered by Greg Sankey. We don't need to be pampered. We're not babies. We're the blue blood of the SEC. We're the blue blood of college football. We are the brand.
No, we can handle it. I mean,
Give us Georgia too. I don't care.
I'm sorry. The Big 12 the Big 10 wants to sit here and run their mouth about SEC schedules, this and that. Give Alabama LSU. I don't care. It's load it up.
Yeah,
Load the box, baby. Play what's ahead of you. And there's look, Ole Miss and Oklahoma playing each other. That's going to be like the nicest combination of fans, like of just nice, hospitable people, because like
yeah.
both are some of the best fan bases out there as far as
absolutely.
like
I had a great time.
Welcoming they are in both Oxford and Norman. I mean, 2 great fan bases. But the beauty of college football comes when you join a hospitable fan base with a raunchy one. Right. I think you're going to see this weekend. Ole Miss is, they're mellow, they're nice, they're welcoming, a little hoity-toity, but they're nice. I always feel comfortable when I'm in Oxford.
I agree.
Well, you're never going to feel comfortable around LSU fans. You're not going to feel comfortable in Baton Rouge.
No.
And they always clash because they're total opposites. And it just the abrasion is great. Like that's what you need. And then there's something about Ole Miss and Arkansas. Again, 2 fan bases I really like, but man, when they're in a room with each other, it's hatred. I don't know where it comes from. It's the border state thing I talk about with the SEC, but it's hatred,
Right.
and that's what you need to maintain. Like that, when you have to have two programs, two fan bases, that level of hatred for each other, you can't get rid of that.
Well, it's years of ending championship hopes and upsetting other. I mean, remember when Ole Miss had the West almost basically locked up in 2015, I believe. So in 2015, I was actually in the stands of Bryant-Denny Stadium watching Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry clash against each other. And in that stadium, I was watching the Ole Miss and Arkansas game where they had the Hunter Henry lateral to Alex Collins, and that gave Alabama the lead in the SEC West. Now, Alabama eventually goes on and wins the SEC championship, but if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're like, what the fuck, Arkansas? Like,
Yeah.
you guys weren't playing for anything. I guess to beat us, but they ruined their chances. You don't think there's some animosity there?
Arkansas is one of those teams that just exist to fuck people over. Like Arizona was like that when the Pac-12 was a thing. Like they just existed to just.
Yeah.
They'll be 9-3. They'll be 8-3 themselves. But man, if they have a chance to destroy your championship hopes, they did to Oregon a couple times.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
Yeah. They'll find every. That was the Jaden Daniels Brandon Ayuk connection.
Oh yeah.
My bad. That's Arizona State. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Arizona did
it. Scooby Wright back in the day.
Yes, that was that was the Scooby Wright team in like 2013.
Man, I love Scooby Wright. Wish he panned out in the NFL.
I know. I wish he translated. I wish Tavon Austin translated too. But
yeah.
Going off of this discussion here for this SEC schedule reaction, we do have plenty of high octane SEC matchups taking place this weekend. One right here is LSU and Ole Miss, and so I'm releasing my individual prediction for this tonight. I recorded it earlier, but these are just two teams that whenever they play each other, it's fireworks every time. The past 2 years, the matchup in Oxford, the shootout, and then last year, Ole Miss leads the entire game. LSU wins on a game-winning touchdown. And this is taking place in Oxford and Vaught Hemingway. Oxford is one of my favorite towns.
Oh yeah, great town.
World. I love that place.
Awesome.
Two of my favorite places closed. Abner's closed. Venice Kitchen closed. I'm very sad about that. But we still got Bourré. I love me some Bourré, and so the square. It's awesome. I love it. But very. The timing of this matchup, I think, is what's interesting to me, because Ole Miss has Trinidad Chambliss emerging right now.
Okay.
And this offense is clicking on all four cylinders. And then I got LSU coming in here, and I think we quickly anointed them early. After going into Clemson, beating them.
Yeah, I agree.
And then beating Florida, we're like, wow, this team's about it. We really have no idea, and I think that Ole Miss could be just a buzzsaw sitting here. The big thing that sits out to me about LSU is their defense is phenomenal, but offensively they've been consistent. And what concerns me is what's under the hood. Injuries. Caden Durham is day to day. He's going to be a game time decision, and Nuss is still playing through injury.
Yeah.
So that is a concern of mine.
Well, I thought you were going to go in a different direction when you said the timing of this is interesting. I thought you were going to mention Lane Kiffin's daughter. Dating LSU linebacker Whit Weeks.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And I think the timing of that's very interesting as well. Got a little house split, like I think that this game is going to really expose a lot about both of these teams. For one, I think that LSU does go in there and get it done. I think Ole Miss just a drubbing of Tulane last weekend, 63-10, I believe. Yeah, I was excited to watch that game. Turn that off real quick. But Ole Miss, I know Trinidad Chambliss he's getting all this hype and whatnot, and people are saying this guy's Ferris State transfer. You know how Ferris State rolls. They've got a lot of guys coming out of there now that are just D2 powerhouse. But I'm not sold on them yet. I'm not sold on Ole Miss yet. I really like Kewan Lacey. He's incredible. But look at what Arkansas did 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss. I mean, they nearly upset them. They were 20 yards away, and they did their Arkansas stuff. My good friend JT Brown quite literally called it on the Instagram page exactly what they were going to do. He saw the future before we did, but I think LSU goes in there and gets it done. I'm going to say it's going to be a higher scoring matchup. I'm going to say 30-24 LSU.
Wow, that's crazy. We actually have differing picks for once here.
I know. I believe in I think this LSU team. I think this defense is really going to cause problems for Chambliss, and there's a little bit more film out there on him now, and I'm just really trusting this LSU defense. I think this is a year for LSU where they're really gonna they're really gonna make their mark in college football this year, and I think Ole Miss is just I'm not sold on them yet. Now if they beat LSU, I'll be sold on them. 2:30 game as well. I think benefits LSU, not a night game. Now, I don't know how much that changes the environment at Vaught Hemingway, but I'm still going to roll with LSU.
Now, it's funny you say the time thing because I actually use that to support Ole Miss.
Interesting.
I think that they're dominant. They're confident in that 2:30 slot in Ole Miss. I mean,
we saw Georgia last year.
We saw Georgia last year. That's how they beat Alabama in the Katy Perry game, right?
I was there.
Yeah, I mean that was one we'll never forget, and this is how they beat LSU here 2 years ago. But I just think that Ole Miss is a buzzsaw, and there's two interesting matchups that stick out to me. Number one, LSU's offensive line up against Ole Miss's edge rush.
Yeah,
I think that
Santarin Perkins is a beast.
That I think he has first round upside. I think
absolutely.
Santarin Perkins.
Is he a sophomore?
I want to say he's a junior.
Okay, because I talked about him a little bit in the short, the Arkansas short, and his stats are just through the roof, man.
His
gameplay is through the roof as well.
No, he's a big disruptor. I think he's going to disrupt a lot of what LSU wants to do on Saturday. And another big thing here when you look on this matchup is LSU has to make this an LSU game to win. I feel like you can't let Ole Miss drive down the field back and forth. And this is by far the most dynamic offense they've seen yet.
Yeah.
So you can't be looking up and have it be 20-6 in the second quarter because I don't like LSU in the catch-up scenario.
I really like LSU's secondary a lot, and obviously having Harold Perkins, I think, is going to be a crucial part in that because it will get loud, and he's the captain of the defense. I just think that this LSU defense is going to show up, and they've played in Death Valley already. I mean, it doesn't get more hostile. I mean, it does, but for an opening game in Death Valley, top 7 matchup, I think LSU's battle tested. I think LSU's way more battle tested than Ole Miss is. And I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to win. Like I said, 30-24. It's going to be a close game, but I like LSU.
Those are all solid points, and this game is a pick 'em for a reason. It's Ole Miss -1.5 as of right now. I like the Rebs to win 34-24. That's my prediction. I just think offensively they're going to be a little too much, but I could also be wrong on that. So
yeah, me too. Well, this game's all up in the air. I mean, I really don't know. I feel the same way about a lot of games this week. So
pretty much all of them, except for one, and that one is this one that we're doing right here. Big Ten matchup, USC and Illinois. I feel pretty confident in who I'm going to take here. Just saying. Illinois, I'm gonna be frank, they got to win the trust of the public after what the fuck just happened last Saturday. I don't think any of us were remotely expecting that, and was kind of shell shocked. And now, I don't want to take anything away from Indiana. I mean, that's a testament to how good that team is, how prepared Indiana is. I mean, Coach Cignetti had a very Saban approach in that game, where like he didn't care what the score was, just keep fucking punching him in the mouth. Like that's just keep the gas pedal down. I love that mentality. I know it gets criticism, but I don't care. That's what dominant teams do. You're supposed to embarrass your opponent. That's why you're on the field, to get them off. But I look at Illinois, and they were just spinning in the mud last weekend. They looked unprepared. Luke Altmaier just looked confused for a lot of that game. The offense was very disjointed, and I had this team in my top 10 at one point, and I'm appalled at myself for having them in the top 10 at one point because they're nowhere near that.
No, they are not. They are not a top 10 team.
And they're another. This was a theme with me last weekend. Illinois is another part of the reason why I'm changing the way I evaluate teams in the preseason. And a lot of my videos, if you go back and watch, I talk about return production. Fuck that. Illinois had 76. Clemson had 81, and they're still the same thing they were last year. I think Illinois looked better last year. With that said, this is a spot, noon game, Champaign, Illinois. This is a spot for them welcoming USC to rebound. You get your home crowd behind you.
Yeah.
You have that added sense of confidence. This can be, quote unquote, a get right game. But I also don't like USC being the team you play in a get right game. If you're playing Northwestern, if you were playing Wisconsin, if you were playing Purdue, I'd be like, all right, this is perfect for Illinois to get back on track. I don't like the timing of this at all. And I very much favor USC.
Okay, well, I think we're going to differ here again. Then I think Illinois gets it done. I think they do get it done in the bounce back game. For one, I think Indiana's just a damn good team. I think they were in a great spot for them. Obviously, just fired up. Like, if there's one thing about Kurt Signetti, is he's not gonna take bullshit. He's gonna go at you. He's gonna bite some kneecaps. He he embodies biting kneecaps. He really is just that guy, and I think that he just fired up. Also, Indiana's got a great situation right now. Mendoza looks incredible. Like you said, Illinois got outclassed in every part of the game, but I'm not sold on USC yet either. For one, I know they can pass the ball. Jaden Maeva, I like Mekhi Lemon. I know that they can get up and down the field, but that pass defense is so bad, dude. And I was so disappointed in Aiden Childs and Nick Marsh last week because I felt like Michigan State missed a lot of opportunities. It was a 7-point game early in the fourth quarter of that game, and then obviously they just couldn't get a stop, a few bad penalties. USC, I'm wasn't bought into them at the beginning of the year, and I know their offense has looked incredible and beat up on some bad teams, but I just think in this spot, Illinois is able to slow them down. I still like the Brett Bielema defense. I know they got thrashed last week, but I really do value that Indiana team. I think they're a very good team. Obviously, that program made the playoffs last year. I like Illinois in this spot. I like them to win 28-24. I think they're able to kind of control Jay Miami. And 11 o'clock game of Champaign, Illinois is 9 a.m. in Hollywood. So
that is a good point, that time adjustment. And we're still getting used to that. USC still getting used to that because that was never a thing because they were in a former entity called the Pac-12. This wasn't usually a thing in the past. But yeah, the time change is a great point. And this is one. Illinois could turn around Saturday and just be a completely new team. It all depends on how you respond to a loss like that. You can be humiliated and use it to get closer as a team, or you can be humiliated and break.
Let me say this. I'll give up on them if they don't come out. If they don't show up on Saturday, I'm giving up on them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you can't get this done at home after what happened last week, then yeah, there is that should be enough motivation to have your shit together. The way Vegas is looking at this, it's USC minus 6.5. I'm taking the Trojans 38-27. I think that a work has been done by Lincoln Riley and Jaden Maeva once again. I think USC may have the better quarterback here. And
I agree. I'm with you.
The better head coach and quarterback duo.
I just think that uses USC pass defense is just horrendous, dude. I really thought that was going to be a strong point of their team this year. I think I mentioned that in the video we did about them, but yeah, they've got some things to work on. I can't remember what Michigan State scored 38 last week. What was it, 52-38, something like that?
Yeah.
And Aiden Childs missed a lot of throws, and I don't think Altmaier's going to miss those throws. Now I could be wrong, but I think Illinois covers if not wins.
I can picture the scenario that happens. I'm staying on business with my pick, but I can picture the scenario with where you're talking about happens. My boy Jansen Roberts, one of our most loyal supporters here in the comment section, just compared Brett Bielema to Jekyll and Hyde. I never thought of that
Hey,
one, but
what was his name?
Jansen Roberts.
Jansen Roberts. I don't trust Brett Bielema as far as I could throw him, and I can't throw him very far. But I like Illinois to have a little bounce back here.
Yeah, I don't think any. I mean, I'm not really a gym rat. I'm a runner, so I can't lift Brett Bielema off the ground and probably pull my back out.
I think you got to be in the world's strongest man competition to be able to do that.
We gotta get like damn Miles Garrett or something out here to take.
I don't think I'm taking the under on Miles Garrett. Where I'm taking under 0.5 yards on Miles Garrett, dude. I don't know.
He's gonna see him be like, oh, son of a bitch, right?
Brett Bielema is a big old dude.
So he's what the kids call a unit.
Yeah, he is a damn unit, that's for sure.
Now, talking about a unit, this is a unit of a game right here.
Yeah, it is.
In the Big Ten, Oregon and Penn State, and now this game to me is weird to break down.
I agree. I'm so lost on this game.
I don't know. It's like taking a test without studying beforehand, but there was no study guide to look at.
Yeah.
It's just you're just really just winging this thing. You don't really know what's going to be on the test. You're just going to circle some multiple choice answers and hope they're right.
A cold case.
This is this is what you call a cold case. I know that there's the narrative about Penn State, right? Big games. James Franklin's 4-20.
Big game, James.
Big game, James. We know what it is. And another thing that we know is what Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen are going to do.
Yes, we do.
They did it last year against Oregon. I think they're going to have no shortage of running the ball down Oregon's throat on Saturday.
Yeah.
What this is, the way that I view Saturday is, this is not only Penn State's prove it game. This is Drew Aller's prove it game. This game is huge for his draft stock in April. That stadium is littered with scouts. This is gonna be one of those games where you have like 50, 60 scouts up in the stands because there's a lot of guys on both teams they're evaluating. But we know what happened against Notre Dame in January. This is Drew Aller's moment to put that behind him and present a resurrected version of himself. It's, if you're looking at 28-24 Oregon, 158 left in the game. This is Drew Aller's moment to shine.
Yeah.
And this is a time where you're in State College. It's the whiteout game. It's Saturday night. You have everything that you could possibly want. This is now Penn State and Drew Aller's time to capitalize. And if you don't hear, there's going to be some conversations of doubt surrounding this team, but this is their moment to step up.
Yeah, this game is. I'll say this to Jansen Roberts. I don't trust James Franklin as far as I can throw him, but I can throw him a little bit farther than I can throw Brett Bielema. So I like Penn State in this game simply because neither of these teams have really played anybody. We talked about Oklahoma State earlier and what a disaster they are. Oregon State, disaster, really. Penn State, Villanova, FIU. Now it's me and Cobb's team, the Panthers. Shout out FIU. But yeah, this is just this. I know, like you said, what Katron Allen can do. I know what Nick Singleton can do. I think I know what Drew Aller can do. I really like Dante Moore to Decorian Moore, the sophomore to freshman connection. I think he's going to give Penn State secondary some fits. Obviously, Oregon's always got some dynamic guys on offense, but what it comes down to is the home field advantage. And I think Penn State's defense gets one or two more stops than Oregon's defense does. And for that reason, I'm going with Penn State and really a higher scoring matchup than you would think. I'm going to go 34-30 Penn State.
I think that this one could dip into the 30s.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a possession battle. I think explosive plays on both sides of the ball.
I can definitely picture that. I think that a matchup that I really like here too that really sticks out to me is Jim Knowles, Penn State's defensive coordinator, going up against
Yeah.
Oregon. He had 2 looks at them last year.
Yeah.
The first time I think that Oregon Ohio State game, the first one was kind of weird. I mean, it was in Austin Stadium. It was really loud. I think Ohio State wasn't making adjustments like they should, but they also had a couple calls not go their way. Like it was a weird, wonky game when you go back and look at it. And then the second
Yeah.
time they dominated, and so I think that he knows a thing or two about how to slow Oregon down, and that's something that I really do like about Penn State. But I'm going to say I'm favoring Oregon in this one, just
Nice.
because I think that Oregon is a team that's a buzzsaw in the making. I don't think they're talked about nearly as much as Penn State was in the offseason. And I think they take that a little bit personally. I mean, Dan Lang teams always take every little thing personally.
Yeah.
Bulletin material. And like you said, the more to more connection, that offense is fast. Jaden Lamar at running back as well. I mean, that was one of my questions about Oregon going into the season, about Jordan James.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the guy that steps up? I mean, he's been fantastic. And Malik Benson, the former Alabama transfer, and then Florida State.
Yeah.
This looks like home for him so far up in Eugene. And so I'm very happy to see him thrive, and shout out to my boy Malik Benson, one of my favorite guys I worked with when I was at Alabama. So I'm happy to see him thriving up there in Eugene.
Yeah, the speedster.
He is a speedster, and there's a lot of speed on Oregon. I think that's how they won a lot of their Big Ten games last year. I think they're going to outspeed Penn State once again.
Yeah.
It's Penn State minus 3.5. I'm going against Vegas again. I'm taking the Ducks 31-27 in an absolute thriller.
So what you're saying is that we're both going to go 2-2?
I don't know. I know who you're picking for this next game.
Oh, you know who I'm picking for this next game.
We may be going against each other.
Uh-oh. Somebody might be going 0-4 this week. I don't think this ever happened before.
I think this is the first time we went against each other for all of them. I'm not going to say who I picked just yet, but we've got a major SEC matchup here.
Traditional right here.
This is the Allen Jackson Chattahoochee battle here. Two border states, two programs that respect each other a lot. They know each other intimately, but when they play each other, they also fucking hate each other just because of the history that takes place. I love Georgia. I have a lot of respect for Georgia, but as an Alabama fan this week, they're on my shit list. This is what we call Georgia Hate Week, in Tuscaloosa. And so as much personally as I want to pick Alabama and ride with them here, I got to remain objective and say what's on my mind when it comes to this show. And so we had a lot of questions about Georgia's offense going into the season.
Yeah.
Offensive line, running backs, receivers. I love Zachariah Branch coming there, but is who's going to separate themselves? And we had a lot of questions, especially about Gunnar Stockton. Well, he answered the bell in Knoxville a few weeks ago. London Humphreys, I want to mention him for Georgia. That guy is when it matters. And
yes.
He may have another moment on Saturday. And so this is a Kirby Smart team. This term DNA gets tossed around a lot about them. There's dog DNA with this team. And we know what the history has been between these two. This is crazy. I don't know if you know this stat. In their last 10 matchups, you know what Alabama's record is against Georgia?
9-1.
9-1.
Yeah, last win was in 2003.
That's in Sanford Stadium. That's insane. There's a song by Metallica called "Master of Puppets."
Yeah, Master.
He knows it.
I love it. I love
My
it.
guy, love me some Metallica.
Yes, sir.
Georgia has been Alabama's puppet for as far as the mind can remember.
Absolutely.
They have. I mean, they do as they say. But that was also under Nick Saban for a lot of those years. And I I am somebody. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to this Kale and DeBoer administration and staff, I am somebody who's a little doubtful right now.
Yeah,
I'm a little jaded, because
understandably.
in big matchups they've crumbled, and especially on the road. Alabama's been deplorable on the road. Florida State, Oklahoma, Tennessee,
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, and this is a road game. This is a road test. This is an opportunity for this coaching staff to prove that they have the same moxie of Alabama teams in the past. That they have a set of balls, quite honestly. We know what it was against Florida State. Unprepared, lack of energy, lack of execution. This is
Yeah,
an opportunity to put all that behind you. But my concern is this a chronic issue? And it would have been nice after a situation, a game like that, to have a tune-up with an SEC team. I'm not talking Wisconsin. I don't really care about that. I'm talking like getting Missouri or getting South Carolina. Getting
yeah,
a game like that behind you before Georgia.
yeah.
Not just walking right into Sanford Stadium. Um, there's a lot of matchups against Georgia secondary that I really like for Alabama. This receiving core is great. Ryan Williams, Isaiah Hortons. It's been fantastic. I think Jeremy Bernard's one of the best wide receivers in college football. And what's huge for Alabama is Tim Keenan coming back and Jam Miller coming back.
Yeah.
So that's also something that you have to take into account. I don't think you're going to get the shell of Alabama that you saw against Florida State. I think it's going to be a much improved version of Alabama. I think it's going to be a much more effective team. I think that focus is going to be there because they know what this game is, and getting TK back on the defensive line is going to be huge for run defense, for getting pressure. Getting Jam Miller back is going to be great to complement Ty Simpson, because I thought that a lot was on Ty Simpson's shoulders against Florida State, and surprisingly enough, I think that a lot of people just didn't watch that game or comprehend what they were watching. Ty Simpson got a lot of flack. I thought he had a good game against Florida State.
I agree with that. I thought he played. I thought he did what he could.
And of course, people don't know ball is, Ty Simpson is Ty Simpson. That it wasn't Ty Simpson's fault.
Well, you always get people are just always going to assume it's the quarterback.
Exactly. You're Alabama's quarterback, being the Cowboys quarterback. You're going to take the flack. But if you watch that game, it was a full team thing. I think as a full unit, Alabama's a lot better in this game. But I'm still taking Georgia. Georgia's -2.5. I'm taking Georgia 38-34, getting the revenge from last year.
So I will be in Athens on Saturday. We'll see if it goes a little bit better than the last few road games I've been to. But I want to say it's we've lost the last 4 road games I've been to. 4 goalposts gone down. But like you said, Tim Keenan and Jam Miller are the big factors for me here, especially with the forecast projecting some rain. Obviously, Alabama's run defense got shredded against Florida State, and I think Georgia has some backs that can really do some damage. It's going to come down to the trenches. It's going to be a classic Alabama-Georgia game where it's just I think both teams are going to have to establish some running game. I will say where Alabama, I think, benefits is that they have more big playmakers, more explosive playmakers than Georgia does. Whereas I think Georgia with Gunner Stockton at quarterback kind of has to be more methodical, even though against Tennessee they did have some big plays, and they showed that they can be both explosive and methodical. But they were lucky to get out of there with the win in Knoxville. Let's be honest there.
And the other thing I have to take into account there as well is they're also playing Tennessee, who had both of their starting corners out.
Right. So as much as you want to sit there and think that we know how explosive this Georgia offense is, we really haven't seen it yet. Obviously, with Alabama has their own problems. Everybody knows what Alabama's problems are. It's a lot of times it looks like they're just uninterested in a way, in a form of fashion. It looks like they're just not thinking. The front 7 of Alabama has a lot of concerns. You get Tim Keenan back, but then Jamarian Lathan goes down. Jamarian Lathan goes down with a neck injury 2 days after he gets back. So I mean, it's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot on Keenan coming off of a tightrope surgery to man that Alabama defensive front. Obviously, Georgia's defensive line, it's not as dominant as we've seen it in the past. But Alabama's offensive line has just not gotten very much push. Even against Wisconsin, it's been kind of dormant. So I think Georgia, the front 7s in the trenches favors Georgia. if it's raining, which it's supposed to, then I think Georgia has the advantage there over Alabama, considering Alabama's strengths are on the outside. Um, but I think the quarterback matchup goes to Alabama pretty heavily. Gunnar Stockton, I believe, he is a game manager. Ty Simpson, I believe, is more creative. He can make more plays with both his legs and his arm. Um, I've been struggling on this game all week because my heart tells me that Alabama's going to get it done, and my brain tells me that this is a hard spot for Alabama. Um, I'm going to go 27-24 Alabama. I just think that I think that the explosive plays are what is the difference in this game. Just like I think,
Yeah.
um, I man, that's it's hard for me. Even in my most negative of moments, I had a Alabama rest of the season prediction where I predicted Alabama to lose 66-3 to the bye week. And I still had Alabama beating Georgia 27-24 this week, just because I just it's hard for those teams that get those notions in their head, like Tennessee last week against Georgia. When you beat up on a team each week every year, it's hard to get over that hump, and I think that Alabama sustains that dominance over Georgia. And I'm saying this from 60% hopefulness.
Now it's the this week there were a few where I really had to, like, my confidence meter was low. Like,
Yeah, my confidence meter is very low on a lot of these games, on pretty much every pick I just made.
I mean, I would say that my highest is USC Illinois. I would say that one's probably around a 70.
Yeah,
I would say LSU Ole Miss is probably around 55, and then the other two are just pick'ems. Like, if I'm wrong on both of those, which I hope I'm wrong about the Alabama one,
yeah.
but if that's, I usually like to be right. But if Alabama can beat Georgia again, just being an Alabama alum, that would be great. But I have to be honest on the show too.
I actually think I'm most confident in my Penn State prediction, um, simply because I just think that it's such a tough environment to play, and they tend to win big games there. I know they lose big games just as much as they win them, and I know, but that Ohio State team that walked in there last year was a lot better than this Oregon team. So
That
that's
is
kind of
true.
where I'm at.
That's fair. And we don't know. And respectively, we don't know much about the Oregon team.
Y-
I picked Oregon off of an internal feeling that I have about them, but that internal
Yeah,
feeling could be completely wrong because the
right.
season's still very young.
Yeah, so that's probably where my confidence lies. Oh, Illinois, not confident. This game, hopeful, not confident. And I know I'm supposed to leave the bias out of here on the show, but if Desmond Howard picks Michigan every game day, I think I get to pick Alabama every show.
I respect. I can respect that.
But there will be a time where I pick against Alabama. I guarantee it. There will be a time.
I mean, if the season goes off the rails, I absolutely will keep doing it. But
Yeah,
I like to pick Alabama. Like, if I feel a slightly encouraging confidence that they're like at the SEC championship in 2023. I actually that's a story here. I'll end this with that's a story I have. I had a whole note section of analysis written with Georgia winning,
yeah.
and when the week started, I was all in on Georgia, absolutely humbling Alabama because
I think I remember that.
I was, yeah, because I remember talking to Bassett and Cobb about it. I forget if you were there too. I was like,
Yeah, I think I was.
I think you were. I was like, Georgia's going to destroy them.
That
Georgia's
might have been that might have been one of the first times we met.
it was one of the first times you're over, I think,
Yeah.
and I was, because Alabama snuck out with the Auburn win, and one of my notions is when teams keep getting lucky, keeping lucky, I'm like, eventually you're going to meet your maker,
Yeah.
and I was thinking that Georgia was going to be that team, but then something washed over me in the middle of that week, and I switched,
Yeah.
and I picked Alabama, and I was right, and it was a huge pick, but I had an entire sheet of notes written out with Georgia winning, and I had to go scrap and write a new one.
Well, seems like sometimes you got to go with your gut, right?
Sometimes, I mean, I'm making individual prediction videos for both Oregon, Penn State, and Alabama, Georgia, and As of right now, I'm gonna stick with what I have. I think I'm gonna make the Oregon Penn State one after this, and I'm making the Bama Georgia one tomorrow night. So I might switch, but as of right now, I'm still rolling with the dogs.
Hey, I can't blame you. I'll be in Athens. I'll try and get some. I'll try and get some videos or whatnot for you. Some in stadium videos. So we'll see how that goes. If it's a night kickoff though, so no guarantees that everything
Yeah,
works out.
if you can get some clips either for the story or for like a little vlog thing to post, that would be great.
Yeah. All right. Well, well, this is. I think this. I like this new format a lot with the storylines moving into the predictions because I think with the six predictions, it can drag on a little bit. But I think I like this new variety. This is an always evolving thing.
Oh yeah, I mean we're still a very young show. I mean we just hit 1,000 subscribers a couple weeks ago, and thank you. I made a video about that earlier from the
I
bottom of
saw.
my heart. Thank you for that. I mean that's massive. And this thing just keeps on skyrocketing. We're the sky's the limit for this channel. Our fans are incredible. I can't say enough about the support we get every week. And so for everybody watching, I really do appreciate it. And the growth has been spectacular. We also had a short, and granted, it's not one with me in it. It was like a meme I made the other day, with Derrick Henry on the bench, which I'm sure you hate, but it
Was it
got
the Angry Orchard
175.
one?
The Angry Orchard one got 175,000 views on YouTube, and so I don't know where the hell that came from, but we make
Hey,
course corrections. I didn't do those things last year, but we are now, and it's working.
hey, when Jansen Roberts, if you're still in here, when the channel hits 100,000, we'll still remember you.
Hey, Jansen's also a Georgia fan,
Well, I might be seeing you this weekend then, Jansen.
which is he's you see every comment he has on there. It's go dogs, go dogs. We've got a couple of really loyal fans. I mean, on every video. I mean, Map is another one, a Nebraska fan. He comments on a lot of my stuff. There's I can't tell if Wang Hung Lo is real or a troll, but I get stuff from him all the time, and so it's fucking hilarious. So, but and then of course all my friends, family, just thank
Right.
everyone for the support. But it's we also just passed 500,000 views, so it's big things are happening, and this has been by far the most smash hit successful season yet, and we have an All American weekend here to build off of, as I say, with these games, both college and NFL. So
Let's keep it going.
there's a lot of momentum to build off of, and this is I really view September as just the precursor and the appetizer, and so there's a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the precursor into what's really to come.
Absolutely.
Well, as always, thank you for coming on, Luke. We're going to keep the format successful.
Yes, sir. I love it.
And thank you, everybody who watched. I really appreciate it. And wherever you are this weekend, don't let anybody drag you into a fall wedding. Tell them no. Have a
Break
great
up with
day.
your girlfriends.
If that's what it takes, I encourage you. Women may not always be there. Football will always be there. And on that note, have a great day.